Alright guys, something a bit different today. We have got a little bit of a problem with a little bit of surface rust on our bumper bar now. I'm not going to get it re-chromed or anything like that. You can buy new ones for a couple of $100 Australian, but budget's tight. So I'm going to do this guy. I'm going to get the wire wheel onto it and get rid of as much surface rust as I can. Bought new ends for it, so the ends are new. They'll just unclip. I haven't screwed them on yet. So, oops, there's the other end there. And this corner was all beaten in a bit, so we've straightened it up as good as we can. Well, it's got a little bend in it anyway because it is a curved bumper. But I'm not going to keep it anyway because I'm putting a tow bar on this thing, and of course the tow bar mounts directly onto these points here. Might even make a new bumper out of C-channel. Not really worried at the moment, but I'll get rid of all the chrome, flaking, etc. Buff up all the rest of the chrome, scratch it up so it will take a primer, and I'm going to hammer finish it in a black. I know it won't match the front one, but that's okay. You don't look at the back and the front at the same time. So that's the job today. Bit of peeling here, and inside it's also got surface rust where all the chrome's peeled off as well. So I'm going to do things opposite today. I'm going to attack the outside, get it all smooth, and then buff off the inside and rust convert it and seal it up as well. So that's what we're going to be working on today. We'll see how we go. Alright, so the first thing is I'll buff it up and get it all scratched up. Alright, nice and simple. I've got a container to put my rust converter in, or rust treatment, and just a little paintbrush. Can use a wider one. Might actually get rid of a bit of bit of dirt that's in there, and there was some rust remover. I don't use too much of it at one time. You can actually reuse it, put it back in the bottle if you've used too much. So it's a simply matter of going down here and painting it on. Getting in all the nooks and crannies. Now it is an acid. It doesn't affect paint. It actually cleans it up a bit. Around here there was a little spot, and I don't know if you can see it there. It's the paint's gone its real colour. It actually took all the dirt off. I just put a little bit over that and sprayed a bit of clear over it. You can see it's a little bit shiny. Yeah, so it actually turns the paint back into its original colour, which is quite good. So yeah, you can see it all foaming up there, converting all the rust. And what's left over, you can see some brown residual where it hasn't been cleaned up properly, but that's okay. We'll clean it up properly, get rid of all this stuff here. A bit more on the chrome itself. It doesn't really matter if it goes in the chrome. I'll put a bit down here anyway. I have got a bit there, and I've got to do anyway, so we'll get rid of that. The holes there. And me, running nose this morning. No, it's not COVID. It's just a bit cooler outside still. It's the end of winter here. I don't know where you are, but it's the end of winter here, so days are getting nicer, days are getting longer. Just do that all over this as well. Now there's some way down here. Oh, I didn't even notice the bottom. Oh, I'll have to get this up. I'm doing it on the car. Just makes it easier to do it on the car. And when I do the other side, I'm actually going to take the bolts out, flip it over, and do the bottom. Just give it a place to work, really. Right, so that's all nicely foaming up there. I'll just put a bit more over this side. Doesn't seem to be doing its job quite as effectively. On here, a bit more on there, a bit there. real metal. The metal itself, if you've got good metal, it actually turns it white. It actually etches the metal itself, but converts all the rust. When it takes about half an hour to dry this stuff, they say to put a coat of paint straight over the top. I don't like doing that with this stuff. I do like to wipe it down a little bit first. Bit of methylated spirit, white spirit, and get rid of it. But you can see there where it's in the deep stuff and starting to penetrate. The bubbles are starting to come up and penetrate some of the deep holes that are here. If nothing else, it's going to put a coat of paint over the top, so it's not going to go too much further. And as we said, it's only a bumper bar, it's not structural. But I do I said do, but I do use this on other parts of the car where there is a little bit of surface rust or it's deep rust and I'm not going to get to it straight away. I like to do that. There is this edge that holds the rubber in. It is gone, so we're going to have to make a new edge out to here, cut this off, make a new edge all the way along there to hold the rubber, the sealing rubber for the car. So what's turning out to be a little project is, well, it's not too bad. It's 35 years old, so I put a little bit of rust converter on that so it doesn't go any further as well, and it actually creeps underneath seams, etc. So that's one good thing. If there is rust between the seams, it will convert it into, I don't know the chemical reaction, I'll find that out for you if you're interested, the chemical reaction, because it does convert the rust and take all the oxidants out, oxidizing agents out, etc. so it can't rust anymore. Do you like my number plate? People in America maybe might know what it is. Of course, people in Britain will. Australia, they will. Most countries around the world will. It's not my real number plate, it's just one I bought off one of the websites, but I'm a bit of a Doctor Who nut, so yeah, so it's there for the time being. Alright, we'll bring you in shortly. Okay guys, so I'll bring you back in. So after a bit of sanding and getting most of the rust off, there's little bit edges I just see that I've got to do that aren't still shining around here, etc. A bit of rust here, holes all the way through. So I was thinking about pulling it off, putting a piece of metal in here, and honestly, it's not structural. So I'm going to use my filler, my fiberglass filler, and fill this up. Piece of cardboard under there so it doesn't all come through. It's got a lot to bite on. I'll go dint it down a bit more and fill that up with fiberglass. The rest of it is really good. Felt underneath and nothing has gone through. It's actually nice and shiny underneath there, so that's really cool. It's because this car comes from the coast, of course, most of them do. We are going to put a bit of rust proofing on this guy. What do they call it? Rust converter. Get rid of that on the top, and I'll change my blades. I've just run out of blade on my grinder, and I'll do the rest here. A little bit bumpy there, but that's okay because it's going to be a flat finish anyway, and get rid of all the rest of the rust, which there's not much on the front, but just to rough it up so the paint will stick. Alright, I'll bring you back in shortly. Alright guys, I took the bumper off. Yeah, a bit of work to do on the inside. It's nothing exciting. It's just all surface again. Get rid of it with the grinding disc and the other wheel, what do you call it? The wire brush. I've done the underside there. I've ground out, well, there wasn't much there, just a little surface rust on there to make it all stick. I'll go around the bolts again because that's where I couldn't really get round. I didn't want to round out the bolts. We'll get it all done. At the top, all the grass sticking to the stuff, but that's okay. I'm going to wipe it off with a bit of stuff shortly. It's all changed colour. I don't know if you can see. You can see how it's all changed colour now. So all the oxidation has been neutralised. And hopefully it won't rust. Well, it'll be covered with paint anyway, but we'll go from there. We'll get rid of the rust remnants on the inside. Oh, bit of a croaky voice. This was all dented up, by the way, on this corner, and that's why it's held the water. I just got the hammer to it yesterday and straightened it out a bit. But yeah, as I said, not too worried about it. As a bumper bar, it's reasonably straight. We've got the ends on, and we'll get it finished. Alright guys, bring you back in. So we've done the inside. You can see where the rust has pitted everything out. It's not too bad. I had ugly Mission Brown left over as a paint that had primer in it as well. It must have been a bit thick in places, and then I just sprayed it over with a bit of black. So it's cracked. The top is cracked through just for the minute. That's okay. Where there's cracking and where there's running, there's no rust, so I've been told. So yeah, it turned out alright, and that'll protect the inside from a little bit more rust, or we'll get a few more years out of it. And we'll spray a little bit more flat paint over the top of our little brown Mission Brown sections, and then we'll let that dry and we'll bolt it on, and we'll work on the good side. Okay. Alright guys, so we've done the a bit of fiberglass filler over the top. Now, with fiberglass filler, and you've got little pores like that, you do have to press down into the hole fairly well to get in there first, because it does have glass fibers in it. If the pores, as you can see there, what happens is that it strings out and doesn't actually fill the holes. So I only ever do a thin coat. What's that sun doing? Getting out the way or not? So thin coat of filler in fiberglass to start with, and then we can go over it from there, because otherwise it doesn't get in all the pores that it needs to and hold there. There is cardboard under the back there. I put duct tape on it first, not duck tape, it is duct tape. You don't put it on ducks that go quack quack, you fix up ducts, as in D-U-C-T-S, to hold that up there. Another word that I really hate that's mispronounced, but a duct tape. Duct tape. Takes a minute to say it properly, or even less. Duct tape. Okay, so yeah, so I've pushed into the little grains that I had left, and that's all I had left. So I'll skim the rest again after everything's set. I do have a heat gun somewhere. I put a little bit more heat in. It's not very hot today. I don't heat it so it's actually burning hot. Heat it to around 20 to 30 degrees to get it to set a little bit quicker. I'll bring you back in. Alright guys, so a bit of a lightweight body filmer over the top of most of the other little indentations on the top. And a couple down the side there. Not too worried about them. Sand them down a little bit harder. Filler over the top, body. Fill a primer over the top, sand it, and then we'll stick our final coat of our hammer finish over the top of that to make it look a little bit more decent. Alright guys, bringing you back into what it looks like now. So this is the top. Grass. Gotta love grass when it falls over and sticks to everything. But anyway, we can fix that up. So you can see hammer finish is, I don't know why they call it hammer finish. I think it's because it looks like it's dented everywhere, but it turned out reasonably well. Very happy with the finish all the way along the top, even to here where another piece of grass stuffed up the paint right there. But all in all, yes, a few dents down here where it was pound out. I'm not going to fix that. All in all, turned out reasonably well compared to what it started out as. So yeah, that's a bit dented in there, etc, etc, but as we said, it's not going to be a perfect car, not yet, until I can afford to get new stuff for it. So that's what the back bumper is going to look like. Not too bad, except that dented in this back corner, but it was always going to be dented. I'm not worried about that. It's better than what it was. So that's it for today. We'll bring you in on another episode.